It was a morning that felt different from any other. A cold, quiet breeze moved across the old hillside as a small group of experts, priests, and onlookers stood in front of a sealed doorway that hadn't been opened for hundreds of years. No one spoke. Some made the sign of the cross. Others just stared, not fully believing what was about to happen. They weren't just opening a tomb. They were about to reveal a mystery hidden for generations by faith and time. The air felt heavy. Even the scientists, who were used to working in ancient places, said they had never felt anything like this before. It was as if the world had paused. Some people said the moment felt peaceful, while others felt like something holy was there with them. If you believe in God and Jesus, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Slowly, they started moving the heavy stone that blocked the entrance. The sound of the stone scraping echoed through the quiet valley. Behind that stone was something hidden from the world for longer than anyone could remember. As the first light of the morning entered the dark tomb, something unexpected happened. The air inside didn't feel old or dead. It felt clean and fresh. When the team stepped inside, many were overwhelmed with emotion. Some cried, while others fell to their knees. Instead of finding only dust and decay, they felt a deep sense of something sacred in that space. For a while, no one spoke. It felt like even a whisper might disturb the silence. They weren't just inside an ancient tomb, they were standing on ground that felt truly holy. No one was ready for what they would find next. Inside was something that should not have survived all these years. Once they found it, there was no turning back. This tomb had been hidden for generations, not only by stone but by silence. There were no maps showing its location, no clear notes in church records, and no public talks about opening it. It was as if the world had chosen to forget it existed. But why? According to early Christian writings and traditions passed down over the centuries, the resting place of Mary, the mother of Jesus, was considered too sacred to disturb. Ancient stories say that after she passed away, the apostles took her body to a secret location, hiding it from the world. They believed Mary's purity was unique, and her tomb was meant to be respected, not explored. Some thought it held a divine presence, and stepping inside could bring consequences we couldn't understand. Others feared it might hide something too powerful for us to handle. Old writings in church archives even warned, "Not until the time is right." Many now believe this secrecy was about timing, not fear. For centuries, people who tried to find or open the tomb were stopped by strange events, sudden illness, political pressure, even disasters. This made people believe Mary's tomb was protected by something divine. Finally, the seal was broken, but it wasn't by accident. Documents from the Vatican show that this moment was carefully chosen. It wasn't one person's decision. It came after years of secret discussions, newly translated ancient texts, and a sense within the church that the world had reached a spiritual turning point. But permission to open the tomb came with strict rules. It began with a confidential letter from a senior bishop to a small council in the Vatican. This council of cardinals and historians had been studying ancient documents about the tomb. They weren't looking for fame, they wanted clarity. Across forgotten texts, one message kept appearing: the tomb will open when the world is in darkness and ready for light. They believed wars, disasters, and confusion were the signs the time had come. After months of prayer and debate, permission was granted through a private document signed by 3 senior leaders. A small, secret team was chosen, guided by faith, not science. Some within the Vatican warned to leave it alone, but the decision was made. When they finally removed the last stones, a gentle breeze moved through the entrance. It wasn't cold or warm, but comforting. As the team stepped inside, they felt something alive in the air. This wasn't just a tomb, it felt like a holy sanctuary frozen in time. The air was clear, untouched by decay. The walls were smooth stone, carefully carved, with no damage or dust. It was silent, and every step felt like walking on sacred ground. Some team members even took off their shoes, overcome by a deep sense of reverence. In the center, on a raised platform, lay a burial cloth, still intact, marked with early Christian symbols, untouched by time. They found more than just a burial cloth in that tomb. Next to it were small items, perfectly preserved: a ring, a piece of gold-embroidered linen, and something faintly glowing under the rest. The scientists wanted to start their work quickly, but they all stopped. It wasn't a person who stopped them, it was a presence. A priest whispered, "She's still here." No one laughed. Everyone felt it. The tomb wasn't just a burial place. It felt like a message, a doorway. Even after hours inside, the feeling didn't leave. It wasn't fear or imagination. It was real, wrapping around them like a warm, powerful force. Some felt peace, others called it holiness, but all agreed something greater was in that room. One skeptical archaeologist stopped working and sat quietly, later saying he felt something pressing on his heart, making him feel small but safe. A scientist's hands began to shake, not from fear but from something she couldn't explain. She had worked at many sites before, but never felt anything like this. One by one, the team felt it too, a comforting presence that didn't speak but was there. It didn't move or show itself, but it was undeniable. Some said it felt like walking into a church and knowing you're not alone. Others said it was like being hugged by invisible arms. At one point, a light flickered on the wall with no clear source, leaving everyone frozen. Then, without planning, they all began to pray in different languages, their voices blending together like one prayer rising to heaven. They came for research, but they found something science couldn't define. They turned to the objects beside the burial cloth. Each item was placed carefully, like a message waiting to be read. The first was a simple ring made of an unknown material, glowing softly from within, untouched by age. Next was a fine linen with a single ancient Aramaic word, later translated as chosen. Then they found a small wooden box. Inside were rose petals, real red, soft, and still fragrant, untouched by decay. The last item was unlike anything they had seen, a small smooth stone that was weightless and pulsed with a soft inner light. A theologian said it matched old writings about heavenly stones, gifts from angels. They found fresh, fragrant rose petals inside Mary's sealed tomb, still alive, with no natural explanation. Alongside them was a glowing stone that felt warm, almost alive when touched. Tests showed it wasn't stone, metal, or crystal, and it could not be burned or broken. Some called it a sign from God. Experts came to investigate. Many left silent and shaken. A scientist said, "This doesn't fit any science book." A priest whispered, "This place changes you." The Vatican chose to stay quiet, handling the discovery with prayer. The glowing stone, the roses, and the untouched cloth were not meant for museums. They felt like messages, reminding us to return to faith, not fear. People who touched the stone reported dreams of peace and even healing, sensing God's presence. For centuries, Mary has been honored as the mother of Jesus, but these findings show her deeper prophetic role as a bridge between heaven and earth. This discovery isn't about changing faith, it's about listening to God's quiet call in a noisy world. Maybe this moment isn't just about what was found, but about who is willing to listen now. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of something sacred.